Greetings, mortals. Jared Petty here with IGN, and today we're building a Steam machine. We're using a virtual machine here for this demonstration, VirtualBox, and if you're going to do that, the first thing you're going to do is download VirtualBox. You're going to want to download some kind of ISO creation program, something that can convert file folders to ISOs, and of course you're going to need the SteamOS beta, which is available through a link on IGN Wikis and also on Valve's site. Once you have those things, you install VirtualBox, and we have some configuration requirements that you're going to want to go through. You're going to need to set the following parameters in VirtualBox. Their type needs to be Linux, your version, Debian 64-bit. You're going to need at least 3 gigabytes of RAM, and you want the Enable EFI box to be checked. You're going to need 128 megabytes of video RAM and 3D acceleration enabled. You're also going to want to create a VDI-style fixed-sized hard drive of at least 50 gigabytes, and you're going to want a bridged adapter. Now what you want to do is take that SteamOS zip file that you downloaded, unzip that into a single folder, doesn't matter what you call it, and then take your favorite ISO creation utility, point it at that folder, and build an ISO file out of it. Effectively, you're building a virtual DVD disk. When you completed that, you can take VirtualBox and you point it at that ISO file that you created, and with those parameters set, you boot up and you're going to find yourself in the simulated UEFI environment. UEFI is one of the system level functions of a computer, and if we're going to get this virtual machine to work, this piece of software pretending to be a computer, we need to enter this parameter when we see this screen. By entering the line of text you see below, you'll be able to boot into an environment where we can install SteamOS. That changes just enough to make it work and kind of fudge the thing. So once we entered that, we'll hit enter and we'll start to see a little bit of change. We'll see Welcome to Grub. That's the Grand Unified Bootloader. That's what starts Linux. And look, automated install will erase disk. Well, don't worry, it's not going to erase your virtual disk. So there we go, and this goes on for a long time, and through the magic of video editing, we skip ahead, and when we reach the screen, you want to choose recovery mode the first time, because we have to go in here and enter a couple of commands. This first one, it uses Linux's synaptic function to get rid of all the NVIDIA drivers. You see, our virtual machine doesn't support NVIDIA, and since SteamOS assumes you have an NVIDIA card, if you try to run it in a virtual machine without that, it's just not going to work. So we're going to get rid of those, purge all the NVIDIA drivers, skip ahead a little. Then we run this command to install some generic video drivers. Now, unfortunately, that's going to mean that our game video is not going to run very well or very fast on this, but since it's beta, it's not going to matter all that much. Now we're going and installing the guest edition CD image. Again, we're looking here at VirtualBox. We find it up in that menu under devices in the bottom right corner, and then we're going to enter this command to mount the virtual CD-ROM. This provides some important little pieces of software that are necessary to make SteamOS run. So we go and what we're doing there is popping another virtual CD that's included with VirtualBox into the virtual drive, because nothing here is real. And by running that, we can make it work. Now, running this script, which is there on that virtual CD, we run that, and that's going to prepare the environment that the operating system needs to be able to finish its installation properly. So if we do all this, enter all those commands, and we finish this last one, then all we have to do is, here in a sec, enter the reboot command, type that in, and once we reboot, you're going to watch a bunch of text fly by. And that finishes up. You're finally going to go back. You're going to come to a login screen. You're going to enter username Steam, password Steam, and then you're going to see this. It's SteamOS. Top left corner to terminal, and then enter this command, Steam, to start Steam running. You're going to install Steam on SteamOS. That's a lot of Steam. We're updating Steam, but when it all finally finishes, why look, Steam. And there's SteamOS running Steam, and available to you will be all of the Linux games that are installed for SteamOS. You can download those and install them. I'm going to start Oregon Trail, a neat little indie game that I enjoy. Start playing. There it is, running on SteamOS on a virtual PC. Hey, looky here. So SteamOS is in beta. It's very unstable, and if you try to run some of the more advanced features on this virtual machine, it's just not going to work well. You can install SteamOS on real hardware. To do that, you've got to unzip that directory into a FAT32 formatted USB drive. You have to do it on a system with a real UEFI interface, or it's just not going to work unless you do some hackery. And there's all kinds of things that can go wrong with it, but if you pull it off, then you're going to be able to use the power of your NVIDIA card and actually run some games in a little better fidelity than you see here in this simulated Apple II environment. On the other hand, it's beta software. It also wipes your complete drive. At this point, it is not set up for dual boot with Windows. They're going to change that before the commercial release, I'm sure. So, there's a lot to do with it, a lot to go. But overall, a fun little thing to play with, and now you know how to install it. And for all your Steam needs and everything else, follow me, Petty Comma Jared, and keep it locked to IGN.